Hello and welcome. I'm Antonio D'Amico and this is D&D with a Twist. The show where I take a D&D thing, could be a class, could be a race, or a monster, and I change it a bit to show a new side of said thing. All while dancing around the Wizards of the Coast copyright so that I'm not sued into oblivion. It's new, but also familiar. But not too familiar. But not too not familiar. This will be understood by like 3 people at most. So when I think of Beholders, I think of... Beholders are the monsters for people who like to pretend they are very smart and TPKing DMs. Beholders are one of, if not the most iconic monster in D&D.
Now come on now.
They're also weird. They are aberrations, which is the monster category where we put any creature that is particularly ugly, weird, or unnatural. If it's an affront against nature, it's an aberration. Hey, stop that. Rude. A beholder looks like a ball with a mouth and a big eye on it, with 10 little eyes connected to the main body with stalks, like the worst possible version of a snail. The eyes are the most important part of a beholder because that's where the magic is stored. The eye stalks can release magic rays from their irises, each eye ray having a different effect depending on the eye that is being used. Because they're so well known, we have more info on beholder personality and culture than most monsters, and it's... disturbing. Beholders are smart, which already makes them better than most D&D monsters since they can talk and have personality and concoct plans and stuff. Beholders are also convinced to their core that they are the best possible life form to ever exist. A beholder sees themselves as perfect.
I am a god.
And they see every other living thing, besides themselves, as fundamentally inferior to them in every possible way. What makes this even funnier is that they don't believe that beholders as a species are superior to the rest, but rather that they, the individual beholder, is better than all other living things. They hate other beholders just as much as they hate everyone else. Relatable content.
I have done nothing wrong, ever, in my life.
I know this. And I love you.
This makes it so the existence of Beholder society is challenging, since they just hate everything, including each other. This is also not helped by the fact that whenever a Beholder reproduces, their first instinct is to kill their offspring. You know, as you do. What the f***? Most beholders are loners that only care about amassing money and magic items, and the only company they keep is that of minions that know better than to talk smack about the beholders so they aren't killed instantly. Another fun, funky trait of beholder behavior, it's their paranoia. Beholders are professional conspiracy theorists that believe that at any given point there are hundreds of creatures jealous of their perfection that are coming to kill them and take their treasure. Very much like that weird uncle on Facebook.
1, 2, 3.
This leads to them making their lairs basically a saw trap, filled with minions, traps, riddles, and various inconveniences for anyone trying to get to the beholder's chambers. When someone is fighting a beholder, they're not fighting just the creature, but rather the beholder, their minions, and years of putting the most unhealthy paranoia to the test. If your party can just waltz up to a beholder to kill it while it's in its lair, you're doing it wrong. Or not. Just do whatever, it's a game. There's no right or wrong, just have fun, I guess. One of the magical powers that a beholder possesses and that most people don't do much with because it's not part of their stat block is a beholder's dreams.
If you can dream.
When a beholder dreams, their body rests, but their mind and their subconscious don't. Beholders can influence the world around them when they dream, but influence kind of undersells what a beholder is capable of doing. They're able to manipulate reality based on what they are dreaming of. If a beholder dreams of itself or of another beholder, then a brand new beholder will spawn right next to it. Oh god! This is how beholders reproduce, and it would lead to a beholder overpopulation problem if their first instinct after realizing that they just cloned themselves in their sleep wasn't to, kill one another instantly. Beholders don't seem to be able to consciously decide to create something when dreaming, but they are able to create things other than copies of themselves when dreaming, which is very interesting. I find this very cool. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, I'm using this. For being so incredibly xenophobic and seeing anything even slightly different than themselves as inferior and awful, there sure is a lot of diversity in beholders. So let's take a look at some of them. First off, your basic beholder, or true beholder. This is your mama's beholder. Believes itself to be perfect, intelligent, extremely paranoid, not fun at parties, and generally awful to be around. We've seen many forms of this one, but it's always round, with a big mouth, one big eye, and 10 little eye stalks. The central eye casts an anti-magic magic cone that basically negates all magic within it, which means no spells can be cast in it and magic items don't work. Weirdly enough, it also negates the beholder's eye rays, as in it cannot send an eye ray towards a creature within the anti-magic cone, which, okay, perfect creature, huh? I'm not gonna get into what each eye stalk does because there's no time, but the effects go from charming a creature, paralyzing a creature, slowing it, and putting it to sleep to disintegrating them. Like literally just destroying it instantly. Beholders are CR 13, but if you're playing them as the paranoid messes that they are, the party should get to them in rough shape or not at all, so good luck fighting one. Now that the basic one is out of the way, let's get into the weird cousins. Death Tyrants are undead beholders. They happen when a beholder dreams of living forever. The beholder would wake up looking like a spooky skeleton, their flesh rotted away and their eye stalks gone, leaving tiny little evil lights where they once were. When a beholder turns into a death tyrant, they gain some funky undead magic, making them a bit more dangerous than the normal beholders. They're not zombies and retain some of their intelligence. Apparently they can also be made through rituals, and there are wizards out there that use them to guard treasure. How that works, given that they retain their intelligence and personality, I do not know, but you know, they look cool. Zombie beholders, or zombie holders if you're nasty,
are just animated corpses of beholders. Probably the work of a necromancer with a penchant for the dramatic. They are far weaker than other beholders because most of their eye stalks don't work anymore.
At CR5, this sounds like a fun way for your baby level 5 party to fight a beholder, but
the fact that they have 4 eye stalks instead of 10 is a trap, since they're still able to use Disintegration Ray, and where a normal beholder has a 1 in 10 chance of casting Disintegration Ray, the zombie holder has a 1 in 4 chance.
So, you know, careful. We don't want to repeat the incident.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistake.
Eyes of Flame and Eyes of Frost are just your run-of-the-mill evolution beholder. They do fire and cold damage respectively. Their central cones makes you vulnerable to fire and cold damage, and then they go for the combo wombo of dealing fire or cold damage. If you're scared of long stat blocks and don't like fun, these two are way easier to run. Death kisses happen when a beholder dreams of a paper cut or something. They have just one eye. Their eye stalks are not eye stalks at all, but tentacles with gross little mouths at the end. The most disgusting thing about them is that they can apparently speak through their little mouths, and ugh, gross, why? Anyway, they're obsessed with losing blood since they are created by a dream of blood loss, and their answer to this fear is to drink the blood of anything they can find. Like a little vampiric ball of evil. Drinking blood allows them to heal and deliver electric shocks somehow. They are generally stupider than normal beholders and not very strategic, but also less egotistical, which means they are able to team up with other death kisses on occasion. They also have a very cute illustration. Look at him. Gross little boy. Love him. Spectators are fun. They're basically diet beholders. They have only 4 eye stalks instead of the 10, are slightly smaller than normal beholders, and are also nicer. They come in 3 flavors: lawful good, lawful neutral, and cookies and cream. They are philosophers and spend their time thinking real hard about things. They apparently have 2 modes. In free thinking mode, they would just chill, visit different places, and strike up conversations about philosophy with someone nice. You know, good vibes only. In contemplative mode, they just sit and think. This comes in handy for what spectators like to do, guard things. Spectators can be summoned by powerful mages using a ritual involving beholder eyes and tax returns. When the spectator is summoned, they size the mage up, and if they believe the mage powerful enough, the spectator will agree to guard something for them. Once a spectator has given their word, they will never break a promise. So if the spectator agrees to guard someone's treasure, they will do so faithfully. They love order, believe in keeping their word, and are generally non-violent, only attacking if attacked first or if you go after the treasure they are guarding. They're just nice. Nice beholders finish first. If you're looking for a beholder-esque fight for low-level adventures, have them fight a spectator. Then again, why would you? They're just chilling. Don't be mean. And last but definitely not least, Large Luigi. Okay, he's not a type of beholder, but did y'all know that in 2nd edition there was a Spelljammer tie-in novel where they talk about a beholder named Large Luigi that had achieved Nirvana or something and now was running a bed and breakfast tavern and was just a nice chill guy? Come on, wizards, bring back Large Luigi. Anyway, moving on, there are a bunch of other beholder kinds, like this one, or this one, or oh god, put it back. But I'm more interested in what we could do with beholders. We've seen a bunch of different forms, but what if we gave beholders a new twist? So you want to fight a beholder. Beholders are ugly eyeballs of evil with a bunch of funky magic powers. And I'm gonna be honest here, they're pretty darn good as they are. Every story needs a good villain, and Beholders definitely accomplish that. They are powerful, they are intelligent, they are scheming, and they are definitely deadly. They can speak and taunt the heroes, get in their heads, they have all the ingredients to be menacing. Not only that, but they're also fun. They have this impossibly high sense of self, believing themselves to be the most perfect life form in existence, which makes you just want to prove them wrong by defeating them. They can't be campy, they can't be terrifying, they can fill so many roles in a D&D campaign. Because they're so iconic, the moment you mention them, the players know that they're in for a trip. Because just like they know what a vampire is or a dragon is, they know what a beholder is, and they're equal parts scared and excited to meet them. Yes, they're all evil, except for Lartuigi, but it's not like the Drow. It's not a fantasy race, it's just an impossibly alien life form of evil. You know, it's fun. Y'all know by now that I'm a big fan of depth and not having absolutes, but sometimes, you know, you just want to fight the evil thing and win, and that's fine. Beholders are in no way stand-ins for a real person, so I say have at it. And you know, if you want to make a good beholder, well, there certainly is precedence for that. Look at Lartuigi. So don't let anybody stop you. But does this mean that there's nothing new to do with beholders? Nope, far from it. Actually, I think there's a part of them that's not particularly explored, or at least not to its full potential. Their dreams. We know beholders believe themselves to be perfect, and we know that they can wrap reality around their subconscious mind when they dream. What if we played with those two things? What would happen if a beholder ever felt that they were in fact not perfect? What if a beholder, egotistical maniac that they are, started to believe that they were not the best living being in all of creation? That they had flaws? I think they would focus all their energy in correcting that, in making themselves as perfect as they ought to be. A mind's eye is what happens when a beholder becomes aware of its flaws. The circumstances that triggered this realization don't matter. Once the seed of doubt is planted into the beholder's mind, they spiral into a deep pit of self-doubt. What pulls them out of that pit is a new motivation: to be perfect. The mind's eye must be as perfect as they see themselves in their mind's eye. It's this impossible drive that allows them to unlock an ability that all beholders have, quite literally, dormant within themselves: their ability to wrap reality. A normal beholder is able to achieve this within their dreams and has no control over it, whereas a mind's eye continually transforms themselves and their surroundings in its quest towards perfection. While in their process to become perfect, a mind's eye becomes almost unrecognizable as a beholder. They keep their central eye and the eyes on their eye stalks, but the flesh is changed into polished metal. They get rid of any biological matter, becoming fully artificial, unaging. However, the process never ends. The mind's eye is aware that they aren't perfect, but their egotistical nature doesn't allow them to understand that they will never be perfect. They constantly change themselves, and soon enough, they turn their eyes outwards as well as inwards. They realize their lair isn't perfect, their minions are not perfect, and they go about changing them using the same reality warping power that they use to change themselves. This is the reason why mind's eyes are also called architects. Their layers are a sight to behold. Impossible structures polished to the most minute detail, with servants to match. Towers that extend far into the sky, or underground galleries that go on for miles. They can be as beautiful as they are deadly, and God help anybody that treks mud into a mind's eye lair. Mind's eyes are generally less destructive than normal beholders because of their obsessive navel gazing. They're so preoccupied with themselves that they have little time to focus on anything or anyone else. A party of heroes could use this to their advantage. By playing into the mind's eye desire to be perfect, they could make the mind's eye agree to help their cause in exchange for something that would bring the mind's eye to perfection. The other side of that coin is that if the mind's eye decides that it needs something that the heroes have to achieve perfection, there is little that can stop them in their pursuit, as they are far more determined and motivated than any other beholder. I think this sounds like a good time. The party could go on a quest to retrieve rare metal paid handsomely by this wealthy, mysterious individual, only to find that this mysterious magnate is a mind's eye controlling the city, and with plans to turn it into a perfect utopia, which does not involve living people at all. Maybe a mind's eye has lost an eye to a rival beholder, and in exchange for its eye, it will build anything that the heroes wish for with its power. I think it's a fun twist on what beholders can be, while keeping it in line with the lore that we do have on beholders. And guess what? Okay, fine, you know by now. The stat block is in the description for free. I wrote it and illustrated it, and this illustration took its time, so go ahead and be nice. And it has layer actions and everything. Now, when you read the stat block, just, you know, be aware that beholders are copyrighted material, so if you're wondering why they're never referred to by name in the mind's eye text and stuff, maybe that has something to do with it. Who knows? It does. I can't say it. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Go ahead and put this beast into your games and tell me how it goes if you do. Don't forget to do 20 to 30 hours of prep though. The session has to be perfect. And you made it to the end. Congrats! This sure was fun. I love Beholders. I think they're amazing bad guys and make for such good D&D villains. But then again, I like most conniving and scheming monsters, so nobody's surprised. It was really fun to come up with the twist this time because Beholders are pretty darn good as they are, so I thought concentrating on what I find the most fun about them, the whole impossibly high self-esteem, was a good idea. And I'm quite proud of how the mind's eye turned out. If you like it, you know, it'd be nice if you share the video around. The channel is super new and sharing the video helps a ton, especially, you know, this is copyrighted material, so it's not like I can sell this, so it'd be nice if you shared. Liking it and commenting also helps with algorithm things, so, or so I'm told. I truly do not know. I'm blind as a bat when it comes to this, but I'm trying my best. I release videos every 2 weeks, and it's a ton of work, so I'm trying my best to keep to that schedule. We have managed so far, and I'm very proud of that. If you want to learn more video updates, stuff that is coming up, I post little tidbits and little like sneak peeks on my Twitter. You can go to my Twitter and find out. I also post art and stuff, so, you know, follow me there. I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching the video, and, you know, share your toys with your sister. Play nice. Sharing is caring. Okay, gonna go now. Okay, goodbye. Ta-ta. Bye. Mwah! Who says ta-ta? Okay.